Prophet Shuʿayb holds a significant place in the Islamic tradition as a prophet sent to guide humanity towards righteousness. He is recognized for his unwavering faith, his commitment to justice, and his compassionate pleas to his people. His story, as narrated in the Quran, offers timeless lessons about the importance of faith, honesty, and the consequences of corruption and disbelief. Shu'aib's message was not unique to his time or place. It echoed the universal call of all prophets, to worship one God, to live with integrity, and to treat others with fairness. He reminded his people that true prosperity came not from material wealth, but from living in accordance with divine guidance. The story of Prophet Shuʿayb is a powerful reminder that God's message is always delivered. It is a message that transcends time and place, resonating with people across generations. His life serves as an inspiration, urging us to stand firm in our faith, even when faced with adversity. Shu'aib's story is particularly relevant today. His message of social justice and economic fairness speaks directly to the inequalities and injustices of our own time. The people of Madyan, to whom Prophet Shuʿayb was sent, were known for their widespread corruption and injustice. This ancient society, once thriving and prosperous, had become a hotbed of moral decay and ethical erosion. The very fabric of their community was woven with threads of deceit and treachery, making it a place where trust was a rare commodity. They had strayed far from the path of righteousness, their lives characterized by deceit, greed, and the exploitation of the vulnerable. The marketplace, which should have been a center of fair trade and mutual benefit, had instead become a den of inequity. Merchants and traders engaged in relentless haggling, each trying to outdo the other in cunning and trickery. Trade was a central part of their economy. The bustling markets were filled with the sounds of bartering and the clinking of coins, a testament to the importance of commerce in their daily lives. Goods from far and wide were exchanged, and the market was a melting pot of cultures and ideas. However, it was riddled with dishonest practices. Traders would often engage in shady deals, their eyes darting around suspiciously as they exchanged goods. The air was thick with mistrust, and every transaction was tainted with the possibility of deceit. The Quran describes how they would tamper with scales and measures, cheating their customers for personal gain. This manipulation of weights and measures was not just a minor infraction, it was a systemic issue that permeated every level of their trade practices. The scales, which should have been symbols of fairness and justice, had become tools of exploitation. This disregard for honesty had seeped into the very fabric of their society, eroding trust and compassion. People walked through the markets with wary eyes, always on guard against the next potential scam. The sense of community and mutual respect that should have bound them together was replaced by suspicion and self-interest. Idolatry had also taken root in their hearts, leading them to worship deities other than the one true God. This spiritual corruption was as pervasive as their economic dishonesty. The people of Madyan had turned away from the teachings of monotheism, erecting idols and offering sacrifices to false gods in hopes of gaining favor and fortune. They had forgotten the lessons of previous prophets, their hearts hardened against the truth. Despite the warnings and guidance provided by messengers sent by God, the people remained obstinate. They dismissed the words of wisdom and continued down their path of moral and spiritual decay. Their pursuit of material wealth had blinded them to the spiritual poverty that had come to define their lives. The opulence and wealth displayed in the markets were but a facade, masking the deep-seated emptiness within their souls. They measured success by the weight of their gold, not by the purity of their hearts. The people of Madyan serve as a stark reminder of what can happen when a society loses its moral compass. The once thriving markets now lay in ruins, a testament to the consequences of their actions. The decay of their physical surroundings mirrored the decay of their ethical and spiritual values. Their story highlights the dangers of unchecked greed and the corrosive effects of corruption on the human spirit. The relentless pursuit of wealth and power had led them to forsake their principles, resulting in a society where greed was the norm and integrity was the exception. Their descent into darkness serves as a cautionary tale for all societies, emphasizing the importance of upholding ethical principles and ensuring justice for all. The lessons from Madyan are timeless, reminding us that true prosperity is built on a foundation of honesty, compassion, and faith. Into this darkness, Prophet Shu'ayb was sent as a beacon of light, a guiding star in a time of moral and spiritual confusion. His mission was not just to preach but to transform, to awaken the hearts and minds of his people who had strayed far from the path of righteousness. His heart filled with a burning desire to guide his people back to the straight path, Shu'ayb stood firm against the tide of corruption and moral decay. He was a man of unwavering faith, whose every word and action was a testament to his deep commitment to the divine mission entrusted to him. With unwavering conviction he called upon them to abandon their corrupt ways and return to the worship of the one true God. His voice echoed through the valleys and marketplaces, a clarion call for repentance and renewal. He spoke not just to their minds but to their souls, urging them to recognize the futility of their ways and the boundless mercy of their Creator. Shu'ayb's message was clear and uncompromising. He did not mince words or offer half-truths. He laid bare the stark reality of their situation, making it clear that their actions had dire consequences. His message was a mirror, reflecting the true state of their hearts and the urgent need for change. He reminded them that their actions had consequences, both in this life and in the hereafter. The scales of justice were not just a metaphor, but a divine reality. Every act of dishonesty, every instance of corruption, was a weight on their souls, tipping the balance against them. He warned them of God's displeasure, and urged them to seek forgiveness before it was too late. His warnings were not threats but heartfelt pleas, born out of a deep love for his people and a profound understanding of the consequences of their actions. He knew that the path they were on led to ruin, and he was determined to save them from themselves. The Quran eloquently captures Shu'ayb's pleas, stating, "O my people, worship Allah, you have no other God but Him." This was not just a call to monotheism but a call to a higher moral and ethical standard, a call to live lives of integrity and honor. Indeed, there has come to you a clear proof from your Lord. The signs were all around them, in the beauty of creation, in the order of the universe, in the very breath they took. Yet, they were blind to these signs, lost in their pursuit of worldly gain. So give full measure and weight and do not deprive people of their due and cause not corruption upon the earth after its reformation. Shu'ayb's message was a call to justice, to fairness in all dealings, to honesty in trade and commerce. It was a call to build a society based on trust and mutual respect. That is better for you if you should be believers. True faith was not just a matter of belief, but of action, of living out the principles of justice and fairness in every aspect of life. Shu'ayb's message was a reminder that faith without works is dead, that true belief manifests in righteous action. Shu'ayb's message resonated with the innate human desire for fairness and justice. It spoke to the deepest longings of the human heart, the desire to live in a world where honesty and integrity are valued, where people treat each other with respect and kindness. He reminded them that true wealth lay not in accumulating material possessions through dishonest means, but in living a life of integrity and compassion. True wealth was found in the richness of the soul, in the joy of giving, in the peace that comes from knowing one has done right by others. He called for a radical transformation of their society, urging them to embrace honesty, fairness, and social responsibility as the cornerstones of their lives. His vision was of a community where people worked together for the common good, where the strong helped the weak, where justice and compassion were the guiding principles. Shu'ayb's message was not just for his time but for all time, a timeless call to live lives of integrity and faith. Despite the clarity of Shu'ayb's message and the wisdom of his words, the people of Madyan met his call to righteousness with stubborn resistance. Shu'ayb, a prophet sent by God, spoke with a voice that resonated with truth and justice. His message was simple yet profound: to abandon their corrupt practices, to be fair in their dealings, and to worship the one true God. However, the people of Madyan were deeply entrenched in their ways. They had built their lives around deceit and exploitation, and the thought of changing their ways was met with hostility and scorn. Blinded by their arrogance and their attachment to their corrupt ways, they refused to heed his warnings. Their arrogance was not just a personal flaw, but a societal norm. It was a collective blindness that prevented them from seeing the truth that Shu'ayb was presenting. They were so consumed by their pride and their belief in their own superiority that they could not fathom the idea that they were in the wrong. This arrogance was a shield that protected them from the discomfort of self-reflection and change. Instead of listening to his heartfelt pleas, they mocked him, accusing him of being delusional and a sorcerer. Their mockery was a defense mechanism, a way to dismiss Shu'ayb without having to engage with the substance of his message. By labeling him as delusional or a sorcerer, They could maintain their sense of superiority and avoid the uncomfortable truths he was presenting. This mockery was not just directed at Shuʿayb, but at the very idea of change and righteousness. They clung tightly to their idols, their hearts hardened against the truth that threatened their way of life. These idols were not just physical objects but symbols of their identity and their way of life. To abandon them would be to abandon a part of themselves, a part of their history and culture. Their hearts were hardened not just by ignorance but by a deep-seated fear of losing what they held dear. This fear was a powerful force that kept them bound to their old ways. They questioned his authority, asking, "O Shuʿayb, do your prayers command you that we should leave what our fathers worship, or that we should not do with our property as we please?" Their questions were not genuine inquiries but rhetorical challenges. They were asserting their right to live as they pleased, to follow the traditions of their ancestors, and to use their property as they saw fit. This was a direct challenge to Shuʿayb's authority and the message he was bringing. It was a way of saying that their way of life was beyond reproach and that no one, not even a prophet, had the right to question it. Indeed, you are the forbearing, supposedly, the righteous. Their sarcasm was a way to undermine Shuʿayb's credibility. By calling him forbearing and righteous in a mocking tone, they were questioning his motives and his character. They were suggesting that his message was not born out of genuine concern, but out of a desire to control and manipulate. This sarcasm was a tool to discredit him and to maintain their own sense of righteousness. Their rejection stemmed not from a lack of understanding, but from a willful disregard for the truth. They understood Shuʿayb's message perfectly well, but they chose to reject it. This willful disregard was a conscious decision to ignore the truth because it was inconvenient and threatening. It was easier to turn away, to close their ears, and to continue living as they always had. This rejection was a deliberate act of defiance against the truth, and against the change that it demanded. They had grown accustomed to a life of ease and privilege, built upon the exploitation of others. Their wealth and comfort were built on a foundation of injustice and exploitation. They enjoyed the fruits of their corrupt practices and were unwilling to give them up. This life of ease and privilege was a powerful incentive to resist change. It was a reminder that their rejection of Shuʿayb's message was not just about ideology, but about protecting their own interests. Change, even if it meant embracing righteousness, was a threat to the status quo they so fiercely protected. The status quo was their comfort zone, a place where they felt secure and in control. Any change, even if it was for the better, was seen as a threat to this security. Embracing righteousness meant challenging the very foundations of their society, and this was a challenge they were not willing to accept. Their fierce protection of the status quo was a testament to their fear of the unknown and their resistance to change. Their response to Prophet Shuʿayb is a stark reminder of the power of societal inertia. Societal inertia is the tendency of a society to resist change and to continue on its current path, even when that path is leading to destruction. This inertia is a powerful force that can prevent even the most compelling messages from being heard. Shuʿayb's experience is a reminder that challenging deeply ingrained systems of injustice is a difficult and often thankless task. It highlights the challenges faced by those who dare to challenge deeply ingrained systems of injustice and the resistance they often encounter. Those who speak out against injustice often face ridicule, hostility, and rejection. Their messages are dismissed, their motives questioned, and their characters attacked. Yet despite these challenges, they continue to speak out, driven by a deep sense of justice and a desire to see a better world. Shuʿayb's story is a testament to the courage and perseverance of those who dare to challenge the status quo and to speak the truth, no matter the cost.